Are you still on the fence about buying a new home in Concord, North Carolina? Are you worried about how the process works or not sure you understand these benefits? Call your girl Leigh Brown. I will help you figure out the neighborhoods and the builders and the price points. And while you're still considering it, let me give you 5 more benefits of buying that new construction home. All right, item number 6. Technology. I mean, look at how you're watching this video right now. You're probably on your mobile device, watching it on YouTube. Maybe you're looking at it on Facebook. And if you will think about my 1973 house here, we did not have YouTube or Facebook back then. I know, right? We also did not have the internet. Still feels good. No smartphones. You had the landline with the rotary dial. What that means is that your new house, being built to new standards, will have more outlets than an older house will, just because we know people have to charge things. You might have a smart home with the Internet of Things, the IoT. That would be that Ring/Nest/ whatever brand you have doorbell that looks at people and has an app. It could be the security system. It could be some cool lights that turn on. The clapper was the early technology. Now we have smarter technology operated with temperatures. You can control your heating and air remotely. You can turn your refrigerator on remotely. You can cut your stove on and get it ready for supper. It's kind of wild how smart your house can be if you put all these devices in, and a new home is going to expect that. New homes also expect you to have a need for wireless internet in the house. So if you happen to be a work from home type, new construction might be what you need, because they will have it ready for fiber optic, have it ready for high-speed internet, and frankly, you won't have to see that little phone and cable jack in every room, which was a huge deal in 1998. I'll just point that out. All right, number 7. Let's talk about safety. Safety in a new house seems kind of silly. Of course, Leigh, houses are safe. But over time, we have learned that carbon monoxide detectors really do need to be around gas, furnaces, and appliances just in case of trouble. Well, a new home's going to have that already involved. New homes will have smoke detectors that are hardwired in and not just on that 9-volt that drives you crazy at 2 a.m. Well, you want to make sure you've got good smoke detectors in your house. A new home may also have sprinkler systems for fire. That will depend on the area and the type of property. Condo buildings, yes. Single family, occasionally. On a house like mine, for example, a sprinkler system would have been wildly cost prohibitive. But if I had a 12,000 square foot house up on Lake Norman, I might need sprinklers, because I would not know what the other side of the house had going on at any given time. And a new home is going to think about those things in advance. The other perk, they can be wired in and connected in before the sheetrock goes up, so you won't necessarily see what it does to the property. Number 8, new construction neighborhoods are going to have the latest and greatest in infrastructure. Don't turn off the video. I know that doesn't sound exciting, but I gotta tell y'all, it is a common question when people move to Concord: when are my lights gonna go out? And I have to tell them, it depends. Because first of all, we have wonderful energy providers here. We have Duke Energy, we have McGuire Nuclear, we have Marshall Steam Station, we have Piedmont Natural Gas and Dominion Energy. We've got energy options. But when a giant hailstorm hits, or occasionally an ice storm, snow, we get about 1 inch, so you really shouldn't lose your power over snow, but it could happen. You could also have a neighbor that forgot to let their friend drive them home and run into a transformer at the corner of the street. There's lots of reasons power can go out. New homes are going to have underground power. Underground power reduces the opportunities for your power to go out, just because you don't have above ground power poles that could be hit. You don't have lines that could be weighted down by ice and snow, and it just makes things operate a little more smoothly. The other item on the infrastructure front you should know about are your roads. The roads have changed since we built houses decades ago. Now most municipalities require more sidewalks. They require more curb and gutter for drainage. They're just thinking about things differently, and that's going to be a benefit to a lot of y'all with new construction, especially if you go back to that item about amenities. If you really want those sidewalks, you'll be excited to find out that many areas are moving to asphalt sidewalks, a little bit wider so they're more ADA compliant. There are so many things that are just continually being paid attention to and improved on over time. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention water and sewer. You will find that sewer lines from the 50s are starting to need some attention. Your new construction home is going to have new sewer lines and new water lines, and they will be built with the appropriate diameter so that the water and what's not water can make it on through. That reduces your maintenance, also reduces your risk in the house of something backing up, provided those lines are clear. And I would be remiss if I didn't tell y'all, whether the house is 100 years old or 1 day old, we still recommend that you scope those sewer lines because you have no idea what is hiding in there. Number 9, appreciation. Now, one of the reasons people buy real estate is not just to have somewhere to live. They are using it as an investment vehicle for the future. We all know that when you start making payments, you are essentially saving some money for yourself in the form of home equity. And new construction homes have a little bit of a bump there. So let me explain that to you. When a new neighborhood starts and it is just a sea of red dirt with some stubs in it, that's what we call where the water and the electricity and everything's going to go. Those are stubs, and you can see them out there where every house will be. The first people to buy in that neighborhood are going to get premium pricing because they're getting what's called a muddy boots special. Now, why do you get special pricing at the beginning? Well, friends, it's going to aggravate your nerves to be the first one in a neighborhood. You've got to know that going in because you will be dealing with mud in the streets. You'll be dealing with red clay on your house because when it's dry and the wind blows, it's going to come on your siding. You're going to see porta potties everywhere. There's going to be very energetic contractors working outside at 7 a.m. on somebody else's roof. And in the heat of summer, don't be nasty about that on next door. You should remember that the folks doing the roof need to get done before the heat becomes totally oppressive. And we want them to help that neighborhood get finished. That just means you won't have as much peace and quiet as you will later. So you're going to get that muddy boot special. It might also go out of your pocket a little in the form of tires because you might run over a nail here or there, but just prepare yourself to be on the alert all the time. Now, as they sell houses in a neighborhood, the builder's going to increase the prices. Why do they do that? Because they can. These are new homes, a new neighborhood, all these benefits I'm listing. And once you, the pioneer, the early muddy boots person, have moved in, the next buyer comes in and says, oh, somebody else is here. Because y'all, not everybody is cut out to be a pioneer. They would like somebody else to go first, and then they will come right along behind them. So there is an appreciation factor you get from being early in. Now, if you're in phase 2, phase 3, you're still probably going to do well because the builder wants to support the neighborhood in growth. The other time you make a little extra appreciation in new construction is at the end. The builder is done. We got to roll on to the next neighborhood. We've got 5 lots left. That's when they'll be willing to discuss with us, me as your realtor, you as the buyer. What will they do? Might it be an extra little bit of blinds in the downstairs? Might it be an appliance package? Might it be a fenced yard? Might it be $3,000 off the house? We don't know till we ask. But at the end, the builder has an incentive to be done. When you're thinking about this process, I will tell you, that's why you want your realtor with you from day one, so we can talk through the pros and cons. You might be the person that says, I need first dibs on the lots. I don't care if I pay a little extra. Then you buy early in the process. If you don't give 2 rips about how that backyard and front yard look or which lot you're on, you might be the last one that says, I'd rather have a little bit of a price advantage. That's one of the things you have to know and convey to us so we can help you make a great choice. And number 10, and I've experienced this one personally, there's this interesting sense of community that happens in a brand new neighborhood. Now, a couple of houses ago, my husband and I lived in a brand new neighborhood. We were one of the first 10 people to sign a contract in there. Well, I say we. I sent the DocuSign to my husband. I said, this is what we're buying. And he said, fine, because as the real estate person, you can imagine he was fairly along for the, is fairly along for the ride of the process. I wanted to be in that neighborhood because I loved the school district and the location, trusted the builder, got a floor plan I wanted, and it was a bit of a stretch for us as people with 2 toddlers, but we could make it happen. When we signed our contract and our house was just dirt. There was not even a foundation started. There wasn't a stake on the lot to show us where the house would go. We had to envision the whole thing. So I was over there every week looking at my house. Where are we at? What's going on? Just keeping an eye on things. I didn't aggravate the workers. That's another little pro tip for you there. If you're building a house, leave the workers alone. I actually have some more videos you can watch about the build process. I'll just remind you of that. But as I was out there every week visiting my house, you know who else was? All the other people in that street that were early birds as well and had started their house. Turns out a lot of us were in the same place in life, young marrieds and young tiny kids. And actually one of the ladies up the street and I, our daughters are graduating high school together. We've been friends the whole time. And it might have happened anyway. But when you're in a new neighborhood and you're all in the same boat together, it does create a really great tie. And that's a good thing because in life, we need more relationships, we need more community and more connectivity. And who knew that new construction might provide that? There's just something about being in it together and starting in it together. And sometimes that relationship just carries on for the long haul. Overall, you really should just know that new construction enhances the quality of life in Concord and in Harrisburg, Kannapolis, Mount Pleasant. If you take the right approach and you have the right builders that are looking at the overall community and what they should provide, new construction helps us alleviate the housing supply shortage and give you more choices about where to live. If you want to ask more questions about builders, neighborhoods, locations, the process, any of these 10 items, send me a message. I've lived here my whole life. I've done real estate for almost half of my life, and I can't wait to help you figure out what makes sense for you. There's more videos to watch if you're on a binge, and I'll see you next time.